The stars stretched endlessly in the black sky, silent and cold. Captain Alara stood on the bridge of the Vigilant, her eyes scanning the endless void. Every sensor blinked, every screen hummed, but the universe felt empty. She remembered the news from the last transmission, how every human colony had vanished. One by one, worlds that had thrived for centuries now lay silent and abandoned. No ship had returned, no message had come through, only the darkness remained. The crew of the Vigilant moved quietly, their footsteps echoing in the metal corridors. Each of them carried a mix of fear and determination, knowing their chances were slim. Lieutenant Eric leaned over the navigation console, his fingers hovering above the controls. "Captain," he said, voice barely above a whisper. "We're alone out here, aren't we?" Alara's jaw tightened, and she shook her head slowly. "Not completely," she murmured. Her hand reached for the flickering comm panel, tracing the last signals from distant worlds. Static filled the room, crackling and buzzing like the dying heartbeat of the galaxy. Then, almost lost in the interference, a faint signal appeared, pulsing in the dark. It was weak, barely more than a ghost, but it was alive, still fighting, still calling for help. Alara leaned closer, her eyes wide. "We have to check it, no matter what," she said. The crew exchanged nervous glances. Some nodded, others swallowed hard. They had heard stories of ships disappearing near unknown energy fields. Ships that never returned, crews that were never seen again. And yet, something in Alara's gaze inspired courage, a fire that refused to die. "Set a course," she commanded, her voice firm, trembling slightly with excitement. Eric tapped the controls, plotting a route through uncharted space. The ship responded, engines humming, lights flickering as if sharing their nervousness. Outside, the stars seemed to shiver, distant suns hiding behind shadows. Every planet they passed was empty, lifeless, like memories of forgotten time. The crew moved through the corridors, preparing for what might await them. Weapon systems powered up, shields reinforced, and medical bays readied. They did not know if they would find survivors or monsters, friend or foe. Each step forward was a choice between hope and despair. Alara stared at the screen, tracing the faint signal through hundreds of light years. Her heart beat fast, a mixture of fear and hope, of danger and excitement. She remembered her family, her home world, the people she had lost. The emptiness of space pressed against her mind, yet she refused to yield. A sudden alarm blared, and the sensors detected movement near the edge of the signal. Something was there, something alive, yet unidentifiable. "Shields up!" she shouted, and the crew reacted instantly, trained to survive. The unknown presence flickered across the radar, moving in a strange pattern. It was not human, not anything they had ever seen, yet it seemed cautious, curious. Alara's mind raced, thinking of possibilities, the dangers, and the choices ahead. Eric's voice came over the comm, steadying her. "Captain, I've never seen readings like this before." "It's alive," she whispered, almost to herself, "and it wants us to find it." The signal pulsed again, stronger this time, guiding them like a beacon in the dark. They followed it, weaving through asteroid fields and abandoned satellites. Every collision avoided felt like a small victory, every jump through space a test of skill. The ship groaned under the strain of constant acceleration, but it held together. The crew's nerves tightened, every heartbeat echoing in the quiet corridors. They knew that whatever awaited them could be friend, enemy, or something beyond imagination. Alara gripped the console, her knuckles white, refusing to look away. The signal led them toward a derelict structure, massive and floating silently. Its hull scarred and twisted, but faint lights flickered like a heartbeat trying to survive. "Prepare for docking," she ordered, her voice steady despite the tension. The crew moved with precision, trained, fearful, yet filled with a strange excitement. Eric adjusted the thrusters, aligning the ship with the massive structure. Outside, The void seemed to grow darker, shadows stretching across the broken hull. They approached slowly, every second stretched into eternity. Finally, the docking clamps locked in place. The ship shuddered slightly. Alara and her team prepared to step into the unknown, ready for whatever awaited them. The signal had led them here, to the last flicker of human defiance. And as the doors opened, a cold wind from the void brushed against their faces. Inside, darkness and silence greeted them. Yet somewhere deep within, life waited. Alara inhaled deeply, feeling the weight of history, courage, and hope. "Stay sharp," she warned. "We may be the last, but we are not defeated." And with that, the crew stepped forward into the heart of the unknown. The Vigilant floated through the endless void, engines humming low and steady. Captain Alara's eyes never left the viewport, scanning every shadow and star. The derelict structure they had docked with was strange, alive in ways they could not explain. Faint lights pulsed inside its hull, like a warning or call. Lieutenant Eric adjusted the controls, sweat forming on his brow. "Captain, the sensors are picking up movement outside," he said, voice tense. The crew stiffened, hearts pounding as strange energy fields warped space around them. No human had ever survived this far into uncharted territory, yet here they were. Alara's jaw tightened, determination burning in her eyes. "We proceed cautiously," she ordered. Every step into the structure echoed, hollow and metallic, a sound that unsettled even the bravest. Shadows shifted in the corners, appearing and vanishing faster than the eye could follow. The air smelled faintly of ozone and something metallic, sharp and alien. "Stay together," Alara warned, her hand resting on the weapon at her side. The corridors twisted strangely, bending in ways that defied logic and reason. Each room seemed to pulse with energy, like the ship itself was alive, aware of their presence. Eric's scanner beeped urgently. "Captain, there's something large moving near the main deck." Alara nodded, signaling the team to spread, careful, silent, ready for anything. The hum of the ship grew louder, vibrating through the floors and walls. They reached the control room and found a single figure, pale and frail, staring at them. Its eyes were wide, glowing faintly under the flickering lights, reflecting fear and hope. "Humans," it whispered, voice trembling, you survived." The crew froze, astonishment and relief mixed in their hearts. The figure moved slowly, as if every step required effort and willpower. Alara stepped forward, cautious but curious. "Who are you? How did you survive?" The figure's lips trembled, words breaking. The ship fought back against them. Eric's face went pale. "Against who?" "Captain, what did this ship survive from?" The figure's hand rose weakly, pointing toward the viewport. "They came. The darkness, they took everything else." Alara swallowed, shivering despite the warm metal walls around her. Her mind raced, trying to understand the scale of the enemy they faced. The figure continued, voice growing faint but urgent. "We tried, we resisted, but only this one survived." Eric glanced at the monitors, showing energy spikes and strange signals. The pattern was unlike anything recorded in human history, chaotic yet intelligent. The crew realized they were not dealing with a normal enemy, but a force beyond comprehension. Alara's voice was firm, cutting through the tension. "Then we learn from it, we fight with it, we survive with it." The figure nodded slightly, relief washing over its pale features. "You must hurry. They will come for you too." Suddenly, the hull shuddered, alarms blaring as the energy fields outside intensified. The ship creaked, groaning under the invisible pressure of the void. Eric ran to the controls, trying to stabilize the engines. "We can't stay here long, Captain." Alara made a swift decision. "Return to the Vigilant, bring this knowledge with us. We use it to survive." The figure followed, slow and deliberate, guided by hope and desperation. Outside, the darkness swirled, a living tide that seemed to sense their movement. The Vigilant jumped into motion, weaving through debris and distorted space. The crew held tightly, hearts racing, knowing the unknown waited patiently. Every star they passed seemed darker, emptier, but they pressed on, driven by purpose. Alara's mind worked quickly, plotting a course through the void, avoiding deadly energy storms. Eric adjusted the shields, diverting power to engines, sweat dripping down his temple. The pale figure stood near the viewport, eyes wide with awe and fear. Alara turned, determination shining. We are not alone, but we are not defeated. The void tested them, twisting, bending, threatening to consume them entirely. Yet the vigilant pressed forward, a small spark of defiance against the cold, endless dark. Each second was a battle, each decision a gamble against fate. The crew realized that survival was not guaranteed, but courage could change the outcome. As they navigated through warped space and unseen dangers, hope flickered in their hearts. And the last human ship moved onward, carrying knowledge, courage, and determination. Toward the unknown, toward the enemy, toward destiny itself. The Vigilant drifted closer to the heart of the derelict ship, engines humming softly. Alara's hands gripped the console, eyes scanning every flicker of light and shadow. The pale figure led them through corridors that twisted like living veins. Every surface shimmered faintly, as if the ship itself was aware of their presence. Lieutenant Eric's scanner beeped constantly, strange readings jumping across the panels. "Captain," he said, voice tight, "these readings, they're alive. The ship is alive." Alara nodded, swallowing hard. "Then we respect it, we follow it, and we learn from it." The crew moved carefully, weapons ready, but curiosity stronger than fear. The corridors opened into a vast chamber, walls glowing with soft blue light. Shapes moved within the light, shadowy and fluid, neither fully solid nor fully energy. The pale figure stepped forward, whispering, "They are the guardians of knowledge." Alara's brow furrowed. "Guardians of knowledge," she repeated, intrigued and wary. One of the shapes separated from the shadows, floating closer, observing them silently. It had no face, no limbs as humans knew them, yet intelligence radiated from its form. The energy pulsed rhythmically, almost like a heartbeat, filling the chamber with warmth. Eric swallowed. "Captain, this presence, it's not hostile, but powerful." Alara stepped forward cautiously, her voice steady. "We come in peace, seeking answers." The energy shape shifted, light bending, almost nodding in acknowledgement. The pale figure whispered, "They sense your courage, your determination. That is rare." Alara's mind raced, considering the possibilities, the dangers, and the knowledge they could gain. One of the shadows extended tendrils of light toward the crew, brushing against their suits. The sensation was strange, almost like being touched by electricity and warmth together. Eric gasped. "It's showing us something, memories, events, warnings." Images filled their minds, flashes of worlds consumed, fleets lost, and civilizations erased. The energy pulsed faster, urgency in every wave. "They warn us," the pale figure said. Alara felt fear and determination mix in her chest, knowing time was short. The Guardians projected visions of a massive force, dark and relentless, moving across galaxies. It destroyed everything in its path, consuming light, life, and hope. "Captain," Eric said, trembling, "that's what took the others. That's why humans were lost." Alara's jaw tightened. "Then we prepare, we fight, and we survive." The energy shifted again, showing a way through the void, a path hidden from destruction. It was a route that required precision, courage, and sacrifice, but offered survival. The pale figure looked at them with hope. "Follow it, and perhaps humanity can live." Alara nodded, her resolve hardening. "We will follow it, every step, no matter the cost." The Guardians pulsed once, light flooding the chamber, almost like a blessing. Maps and coordinates projected before the crew, showing safe passages through deadly sectors. Eric's hands shook as he copied the data. Every number, every vector burned in a memory. Outside, the darkness waited, patient and deadly, sensing movement, sensing defiance. The vigilant crew prepared to leave the derelict, armed with knowledge and courage. Alara turned to the pale figure. "Thank you. We will honor this gift. We will survive." The figure nodded, faint light shimmering around it, disappearing slowly into the shadows. The Guardians pulsed once more, then receded into the walls, leaving silence and calm. The crew felt the weight of history and hope pressing on their shoulders, heavy but motivating. Alara gave orders: prepare for departure, plot the course, shields up, engines ready. Every crew member moved with precision, hearts racing with anticipation and fear. The vigilant detached, moving slowly at first, then accelerating through the void. The derelict faded behind them, a silent witness to humanity's last chance. Outside, the darkness churned, sensing defiance, but the ship moved onward. Each star they passed was a reminder of the stakes, of what was lost and what could be saved. Alara whispered to herself, "We are not alone, and we are not defeated." The crew held together, eyes on the stars, hearts filled with hope and courage. The first contact had given them tools, knowledge, and a chance. Yet the galaxy waited, cruel and endless, ready to test their limits. The vigilance surged forward, humanity's last defiance against fate itself. And somewhere deep in the void, the shadows watched, patient and eternal. The vigilance surged through the void, stars streaking past like fire. Captain Alara stood at the bridge, eyes scanning the darkness ahead. The coordinates from the Guardians glowed on the screen, a path through the deadly sectors. Lieutenant Eric adjusted the shields, diverting power to engines, tension gripping his chest. "Captain," he said, voice low, "there's movement in Sector 12, something large, fast, and hostile." The crew stiffened, hearts racing, every sensor screaming danger. Alara nodded, jaw tight. "Show it to me." The screen flickered, revealing a massive shadow, darker than the void itself. It moved with unnatural speed, twisting and shifting, almost alive. The crew gasped. "That's no ship. It's a predator," Eric whispered, pale. The pale figure that had guided them through the derelict shivered, energy flickering. "They know you are alive. They are drawn to defiance," it said softly. Alara's eyes narrowed. "We will not run. We will fight. We will survive." The shadow approached, warping space around it, tendrils of darkness stretching toward the vigilant. Alarms blared, lights flickered, and the hull groaned under invisible pressure. Eric fought the controls, diverting all power to shields and engines, sweat dripping down his face. The creature's movements were precise, intelligent, as if it knew every step the ship would take. Alara barked orders. "Engage evasive maneuvers. Keep the engines steady. Fire only if necessary." The crew moved as one, hearts pounding, hands steady, training taking over fear. The shadow lunged suddenly, colliding with the void around them, gravity warping, systems straining. The vigilant shook violently, metal screeching, sparks flying from the hull. Eric's voice was tense. "Shields are holding, but just barely, Captain." Alara clenched her fists. "Prepare the pulse cannons. Aim for the core of the darkness." The creature twisted, avoiding attacks with impossible speed, testing every weakness. The pale figure hovered near the viewport, whispering warnings. "It adapts. It learns. Move faster." Alara's mind raced, thinking of every tactic, every maneuver, every hope of survival. The vigilant darted through a debris field, using floating wrecks as cover. The shadow followed relentlessly, dark tendrils scraping against the hull. A section of the bridge shuddered, panels sparking, lights dimming, alarms wailing. Eric's fingers flew over the console, redirecting power to the weakened shields. The shadow lunged again, faster than thought, scraping the hull, leaving deep scars. Alera's voice rang clear, steady and commanding. We fight with everything we have. We do not surrender. The crew fired pulse cannons, beams of energy lancing the void. The creature twisted, absorbing some energy, deflecting others, almost laughing in silence. The pale figure murmured, "It is testing you, your will, your strength. It is a predator of courage." Alera gritted her teeth. "Then we show it courage. Humanity will not fall." The Vigilant maneuvered sharply, engines roaring, shields flaring with energy. The crew braced as the shadow lunged one final time, colliding with a violent pulse. The hull shook, alarms blared, but the Vigilant survived, a spark of defiance in the endless darkness. Alera's eyes burned with determination. We survived, but it knows we are here, and it will return. Eric wiped sweat from his brow, breathing hard. That was too close. It's learning too fast. Alera nodded, looking at the stars ahead. Then we must be faster, smarter, stronger. We cannot fail. The pale figure glowed faintly, a silent promise of guidance, watching as humans tested the void. The darkness waited patiently, knowing the fight had only just begun, and the Vigilant pressed on, carrying hope, courage, and defiance into the unknown. The Vigilant moved cautiously, hull scars glowing faintly under emergency lights. Captain Alera stood firm, eyes locked on the void ahead, calculating, planning. The shadow waited, massive and patient, tendrils of darkness curling like living snakes. Eric adjusted the pulse cannons. "Captain, if we hit it at the right angle, we might slow it." Alera nodded, determination burning. "Then we hit it hard. We strike where it least expects." The crew moved as one, tension humming through the bridge, every heartbeat loud. The pale figure hovered near the viewport, light flickering like warning signals. It senses fear, it whispered, and weakness do not show either. Alera's jaw tightened. "Then we show strength, humanity's strength." The Vigilant veered sharply, diving toward a cluster of asteroid fragments. The shadow followed, twisting through the debris like a phantom predator. Eric fired pulse cannons, beams cutting through the void, striking tendrils of darkness. Some dissipated, some adapted, the creature learning with every attack. Alera barked orders, redirect power to the front shields, engage evasive maneuvers. The crew responded instantly, weaving through the debris field, engines roaring, shields flaring. The shadow lunged suddenly, striking a fragment, sending it careening toward the Vigilant. Alarms screamed, sparks flew, but the ship twisted away at the last second. The pale figure hovered close, murmuring, "It tests your reflexes, your courage, your unity." Alera gritted her teeth. "Then we show it unity. We fight together, every one of us." The crew fired coordinated volleys, targeting the shadow's core energy with precision. The beams collided, lighting the void in flashes of blue and white. The shadow shrieked silently, energy rippling across its form, pushing back against the attacks. Eric shouted, "Captain, core readings are fluctuating. It's weakening in one sector." Alera smiled, a fierce grin. "Then that's where we strike full power now." The Vigilant surged forward, engines at maximum, pulse cannons aligned perfectly. Energy beams lanced the shadow's weakened core, striking again and again. The darkness writhed, tendrils flailing, but the pressure forced it backward. The crew held their breath, eyes wide, hearts pounding, waiting for the response. The shadow recoiled, space itself bending around it, then vanished into the void. Silence fell, the emergency lights reflecting off exhausted, yet triumphant faces. Eric exhaled, voice trembling. "We did it. It's gone for now." Alera didn't relax, eyes scanning the stars. "Gone, but it will return stronger." The pale figure pulsed faintly, energy radiating approval. "You fought well. Courage and unity are rare." Alera nodded, resolve hardening. "Then we keep moving. We survive, we fight, we endure. The crew repaired the hull, recalibrated shields, and tended to minor damages. Every movement precise, every decision critical. Understanding the darkness was patient. The Vigilant pressed on through the void, a spark of defiance against endless destruction. Eric whispered, "Captain, every step we take, it's learning, adapting, watching." Alara's gaze burned into the darkness. "Then we stay unpredictable, we stay alive. Humanity will not fall." Outside, stars glittered cold and distant, but hope burned bright within the ship. The crew worked tirelessly, united by courage, knowledge, and the promise of survival. The shadow waited, silent, patient, a predator in the void, and the Vigilance surged onward, humanity's defiance blazing like a star. Knowing every decision, every pulse, every move could mean life or death. Yet the crew refused to surrender, for the fate of humanity rested in their hands. The Vigilant drifted through the quiet void, repairs ongoing, shields humming steadily. Captain Alara leaned on the railing, watching the stars stretch into lines of silver. The crew moved quietly, tense, nerves frayed after the last encounter. Eric wiped sweat from his brow, scanning the consoles, trying to anticipate the next threat. The pale figure floated near the viewport, faint glow reflecting on the metal walls. It is patient, it watches, not just from outside, but within, it whispered. Alara frowned. "Within? What do you mean?" The figure pulsed, almost a warning. The void touches minds, shadows, can creep into thoughts, into trust. Alara's eyes narrowed. "Are you saying we might betray ourselves?" Suddenly, alarm screamed, red lights flashing violently. Lieutenant Mara shouted, "Captain, sensor readings, there's interference, internal energy, fluctuations." Crew members froze, looking around, tension snapping like brittle wires. Eric's hands flew across the controls. Someone or something is manipulating the ship from inside. Alara barked, "Lock all compartments. Full security protocols. No one leaves their stations." The crew obeyed, hearts pounding, eyes darting, fear whispering in every corner. The pale figure hovered closer, whispering, "The Predator has ways beyond space. It can reach through fear, doubt, anger." Alara clenched her fists. "Then we fight it together. No secrets, no hesitation." Lights flickered, shadows stretching unnaturally across walls. Mara froze, staring at the viewport, voice trembling. "I think I saw one of the crew, but it wasn't real." The ship shook slightly, as if a ghost moved through the corridors. Eric shouted, "Sensors confirm it. Someone isn't human." Alara's eyes blazed. "Then we find it. Root it out. We cannot let fear destroy us." The crew split into teams, scanning corridors, checking every hatch, every panel. Every shadow seemed alive, whispering doubts, testing their courage. Mara touched a control panel, shivering. It knows my thoughts, my fears." Alara grabbed her shoulder, steady. "Focus on reality, on us, on survival, not illusions." Eric directed the security drones, moving them in precise patterns, lights cutting through the darkness. Suddenly, a loud crash echoed from the cargo bay, sparks flying from a ruptured conduit. The crew froze, holding breath, every nerve alert, hearts hammering. They approached cautiously, pulse cannons ready, lights scanning every corner. Inside the bay, a figure moved, shifting, almost human, almost shadow. Alara shouted, "Show yourself, now!" The figure stopped, then dissolved into darkness, whispering a soundless hiss. The pale figure hovered near Alara. It toys with courage. It tests unity. Weakness will destroy you faster than any weapon. Alara's hands tightened around the rail. "Then we stay strong, together. Nothing breaks us." The crew regrouped, shaken but resolute, checking systems and morale. They realized the Predator was not just outside, but a test within, probing fears, exploiting doubt. Alera's voice rang clear, firm, unwavering. Fear is a weapon it cannot use if we stand united. We are humans, and humans survive. The Vigilant pulsed with life, crew and ship synchronized, resisting the shadow's internal games. Outside, stars shimmered cold and distant, but inside, courage burned brighter than any darkness. The Predator waited, patient, knowing the fight was far from over. And the Vigilant surged forward, hope and unity its shields against the unseen threat. Every heartbeat, every glance, every choice was a declaration. Humans fight, humans endure, humans survive. The Vigilant surged through the void, scars on its hull, shining under the distant stars. Captain Alera stood tall, pulse steady, knowing the final test awaited. The pale figure hovered near, glowing brighter than before. This is the ultimate trial. Your unity, your courage, your will. The crew checked weapons, shields, and sensors, every station alive with tense energy. Eric glanced at the readings. Captain, the shadow. It's forming larger, more aggressive than ever. Alera's gaze hardened. Then we meet it head-on. Humanity does not run. The void darkened ahead, tendrils of shadow stretching, twisting, reaching as if to swallow the stars. Every heartbeat aboard the Vigilant matched the thrum of engines, loud and resolute. Mara whispered, "I can feel it. It wants to scare us, break us." Alera's voice rang clear. "Then we show it fear has no power here. We are humans, and humans endure." The Vigilant dove into the darkness, pulse cannons firing, energy beams cutting swaths through shadow. The Predator shrieked in silence, twisting violently, adapting, but never fully breaking the human line. Crew worked in harmony, shields pulsing in perfect rhythm with weapons, minds synchronized in courage. The pale figure pulsed with light, signaling approval. Unity strengthens you. Together you are a force beyond its understanding. Alera barked orders. Target its core. Every cannon, every strike, focus on the center. Energy beams collided with the shadow's heart. Explosions of light and soundless force rocking the void. Tendrils shriveled, the shadow writhed, darkness breaking apart like ice under heat. Eric shouted, "Captain, core destabilizing. It's weakening, giving up the fight." Alera's eyes blazed. "Then we press forward. Humanity does not retreat." The crew poured every ounce of energy into the attack. Pulse cannons synchronized, shields flaring. The shadow screamed silently, twisting, writhing, then shattered into fragments of light. The void cleared, stars returning to brilliance, silence replacing chaos. The Vigilant glowed with energy, crew breathing heavy, eyes wide with triumph and disbelief. Alera exhaled, voice firm. "We did it together. We fought together. We survived." Mara smiled, tears glistening. "We really held our own against fate." The pale figure pulsed one last time, radiant. "Humans endure. Humans adapt. Humans rise." Alera's gaze swept the crew, pride burning. This is what humanity is. We fight. We survive. We rise. The Vigilant moved forward, patched and strong, a symbol of defiance against the endless void. Outside, darkness waited, patient, but the humans aboard were ready for whatever came next. Every scar on the hull told a story, every trembling hand now steady, every doubt now resolved. The crew worked together, not just as soldiers or sailors, but as humanity itself. Stars stretched endlessly, but hope burned bright aboard the ship. Alera whispered, "The universe may test us, but we are never truly lost, never alone, never defeated." The Vigilant surged ahead, humanity's courage blazing like a supernova. The void could wait. The humans were awake, united, and unstoppable. And in the heart of space, one ship fought back against fate and won.